Yo, call me a 3D model the way I just did Aristotle. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage. Today, and only today, we are here with, I guess some breaking news, which is, why my voice is all crackly. I just woke up to this. And that is that SEGA basically put up an article in Japanese about their 3D models for Sonic. This is something that we have been talking about for a long time about how, we want them to evolve the 3D models, create more animations and all that. And this is a whole article talking about, what they did for the Shadow Gens remaster and apparently what they are doing for the future. So if you are, up in the nerdy talk for Sonic, I know a lot of you are, maybe some people aren't. Make sure to strap in, sit down, and enjoy this with me. And of course, subscribe to your boy. We are hitting damn near 70K, and I am doing a 30 for 30 YouTube challenge where I'm trying to upload a YouTube video every day for 30 days. This is going to be day 10. And without further ado, let's lock in. I do also want to preface that this article is like in Japanese and it's translated to English. So some of the words and things might not be, accurate, but let's get right into it. So Sonic X Shadow Generations is the latest game in the series, October 2024, featuring Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega's signature character. This is a 2-in-1 package that includes an HD remaster of Sonic Gens released in 2011 for current consoles and a new story for the popular character Shadow the Hedgehog. In addition to the classic Sonic from the 2D era, Shadow's new work is particularly popular overseas, was included, which has earned very high reputation. It was a huge hit, selling over 1 million units worldwide in the first day of release. Wow, I didn't know that it was on day one it did a million. And over 2 million within 3 months of its release. In this article, we asked creators to explain character modeling, motion creation, and event scenes production using Maya and related tools. Using examples, these are only a part of the production process, but we hope you'll enjoy the advanced technology and ingenuity behind the movements and directions of the charming character. So right away, I didn't know that it did a million in a day. That's awesome. Like the fact that we're at that point with Sonic, where like a million in a day is a lock is huge, and 2 million, within 3 months. Again, keep in mind it's a remaster, so it's not gonna do like main game numbers, but again, very happy that it's selling incredibly well. And I'm sure like at this point, we're like 6-7 months into its life, maybe we're at 4 million copies because it's still getting high praise. So yeah, this is some of the concept art that's in the game. They're showing some of the employees, so let's see what they got here. Ooh, first, the character production team brought together ideas and worked on character designs based on the dark hero motif. Shadow, the main character of Shadow Generations, has the power called Doom Power that allows him to grow wings and transform. So let's see how this looks. Oh my god. Ugh, this is it's so weird seeing it like this, but you can see like, a bit more of the advancements in the movements. Oh my god, look at the tiny eyes there. That's crazy, but my man Shadow looking a little cuckoo crazy there. So the parameters of Shadow's facial expression rig are set according to the emotion, and you can visually check the degree to which one emotion is blended with another emotion. With a little knowledge of Maya, you can create UIs for linking attributes using driven keys and expressions. So obviously, when we played Shadow Gens, you could tell Shadow was a lot more expressive than he was a while ago. His pupils would dilate or he'd be really angry. So at least they're getting better with that stuff, right? Needle Viewer is a proprietary tool that allows you to adjust modeling while previewing the viewport in Maya, just like the actual device. By capturing an in-game usage situation like the one shown on the left and it loading into Maya, you can recreate the same environment and edit in a state close to the final product. Okay, so just showing how you can have these side by side. Oh god, this is the Bio Lizard. Ugh, bro, that's a freaky lizard, man. Next, a special shader was created to randomly express writhing spheres. This is the boss character Bio Lizard by setting the channel as R equals expansion size and G equals expansion/contraction speed and B equals time shift. At inputting a Maya script random number, random expression can be achieved with the press of a button. This seems like a convenient script for executing on large numbers of objects. Since the particles themselves are the same model, the vertex index is also fixed. It's a simple command to pick up an appropriate vertex index and assign a random number code to each of the side of the shell, said lead character artist Matsura Shinji. Yeah, the Bio Lizard's like all like colored arms are really cool, so it's cool to get a bit of an insight on that. You get stuff like the arc missiles, workflow and tool customization efforts in motion production. So through the development of Sonic series and other titles, the in-house technical artists and script savvy animators have been continuously customizing Maya's animation tools, in particular improvements to the graph Editor UI displaying switch functions, soft image style, numerical input support, and automated curve options. So smooth key convergence thinning have significantly improved efficiency. In addition, there's a launcher that loads animation related tools, and the tools can be started with the motion loaded in a home environment. The tools can be easily accessible and downloaded locally. And then Shadow's rig is taken from Sonic Frontiers. Wait, really? I didn't even know Shadow had a fucking model in Sonic Frontiers. Unless they're just like, wait, did they have a Shadow model done for this? That's interesting. Scale and mobility of the limbs and elbows have been improved, allowing for more impactful and exaggerated expressions when punching. In addition, the facial expression controls make it easier to load registered poses. I hate seeing shit like this. I mean, I know this is part of animation, but seeing Shadow with a long, goofy arm is kind of crazy, you know? And then what do we got here? Pick your UI official pattern. So what do they do here with the face for Shadow? Okay, they've got their different expressions that they choose. So kind of angry, slightly angry, pretty angry. Damn, it's kind of cool to see at least like the back end of how this shit works, right? Does he have any other facial expressions? Okay, now they're just showing kind of like how the rig works. You got stuff here for like Devil Doom, right? Looking kind of crazy over here. You've got all the face mappings on Maria. You got some of the Doom power animations. This game's distinctive feature are distorted space and Doom power. The former was verified and constructed using Unreal Engine and Houdini. Enemies with Doom powers are created with soft textures and are hand animated to create soft, supple movements with exaggerated scaling. So, yeah, I mean, seeing even how like the movements were rigged for for the Doom wings is really sick. What do they got here? They got the little spin move. And what do they talk about here? So, for example, in the missile destruction scene, Shadow's special ability Time Stop is shown in an appealing way. Shadow pushes his way through the floating still debris and in the end kicks the missile away. When the slowdown is over, his power is released all at once in the blow. The Sonic series places great importance on speed and acrobatic movement. So here's a culture of doing them by hand. In addition to the techniques passed down from predecessors, from coolness unique to the series is shared and passed down through motion library and reference materials. So that's awesome, man. I mean, yeah, this was one of the early times when people were looking at Shadow Gens that they were so excited just seeing like a cutscene showcasing like the speed and power, right? And yeah, into like the slow-mo punch as he goes to, oh god, I'll never get over how cool this is, man. It just looks so fucking cool no matter what way you spin it. And then you get some enemies here, right? Yeah, how did they do the time distorted space stuff, right? Because this is something I'm so curious about, because this is one of like the craziest things in the game, right? So the in-game events are called distorted space effects. When you reach a world used by Shadow's nemesis, Black Doom, you are forced to move to a space where the Earth is upside down and the laws of physics are disrupted. In order to allow users to play without losing their sense of immersion, the goal is to seamlessly transition to a cutscene without blackouts and enter the stage. There are 3 locations where this effect is activated and is meant to surprise with impactful visuals while also having an element of storytelling. So the duration of the effect needs to be around 15 to 25 seconds to not disrupt the tempo of the game. The staff said that creating the visual effect under such a number of conditions was a challenge. We started by exploring and defining with the team what a distorted space is. We all brainstormed ideas to create a visual that was cool and aggressive as ever, and we came up with a different characteristic for each of the 3 locations: the Arc, Rail Canyon, and City, says Shibuya. So, yeah, I was gonna say, like, obviously a lot of people have like some criticisms sometimes with like how long these can take on repeat scenarios. You know, obviously they were saying here they don't want it to be more than 15 or 25 seconds. I do think like either one for the next game, they should be a little shorter somehow in between phases, or right, have it so that, you know, you could maybe skip it on a repeat, but it might be like, you know, like they're saying, it's like a loading in to the next part of the level. So I kind of get where they were getting from. So talk a bit about that, you know, a Maya playable test simply showing that transition. Oh, let me see how this works. So hold on. Let me see. This is one of their early tests of it, right? Where they're showing the distorted space. Oh shit, it was so simple in the early phases. Damn, bro. Making games is crazy. Making games is absolutely crazy. Is this just like another example of them running it? Oh, they had the goop from Adventure 2. Ugh. Was this originally the enemy that shows up when Black Doom was in the picture? That's kind of crazy. All right. You've got this guy distorting the space. Shadow just falling down. Damn. Seeing this is so weird. I mean, I like when devs are open about this stuff, but Still, the idea of being thrown into the air was included, but the idea of diving to connect it had not come up. So the scene ended up with characters landing on the road. At this stage, wideouts and cutouts were used when switching from corridor to the distorted space. Damn, bro. Look at Shadow over here, bro, falling for his life. That's kind of cool. Then what do you got? Almost the final version, I had an idea of the pentagonal shape appeal when you go through the passage. Finally, I added the idea to connect the two by diving, which, yeah, I mean, that at this point has become like a pivotal part of this level. This has always been one of my favorite moments in the game, and there's like Shadow falling down through the city. Wow, you sink it through, bro. And then, yeah, into the dive over here. God damn, bro. And then, oh, these are like the near final ones, right? Oh, shit. Dude, seeing this is like really cool, man. It's like just a good insight on shit. So, detailed animation was added by hand of the passage. Disintegrating was created by VAT and Houdini, then matches with the actual machine. And then obviously you have like the Rail Canyon one over here, right? As the rail splits attack, Shadow is shown nimbly dodging them with a 360-degree rotating camera. It's finally thrown out, leading to a playable run. As the second time the player has entered the storage space, the distance is shorter than the arc. Okay, interesting. So it was a conscious choice to make this a shorter cutscene to get in there, which I can appreciate that. You know, like I said, I think a lot of people by the second, third time, they're like, all right, you got to speed this up, you know? And so I think, and I hope they continue this when they do these like intermission cutscenes. And then, yeah, you have the, oh God, you have the moment from This Is Sunset Heights, right? Where, yeah, this one is also faster. We were asked to make these images more and more flashy as moving through the second half so the camera work is quick and animated. Yeah, this one is one of my favorite animations just because, like, Shadow going upwards, using his teleports and then into the glide rail. Shit, it's too cool, bro. So far, we've looked at the visual effects of the in-game events, but of course, there are also traditional cinematic scenes. Sonic Generations is a cartoon style with rapid-fire dialogue and basic fixed camera, but in contrast, Shadow Gens is a more cinematic with detailed gestures that depict emotion and camera shake for more realistic feel. Shibuya explains that the background of the production shows a character who has trauma about his birth. I included a performance of him being consumed by evil and struggling to face his destiny. Also, the heroine Maria, who appeared in the film, is like family to Shadow, so it's important to portray her emotions. But yeah, I mean, that's very obvious with Shadow Generations that they up the production value on the cuts, even stuff like that, like the quick transitions to the more expressive movements, to the lighting and everything. Like obviously with Shadow Gens cutscenes, we had a lot more work put into them as opposed to the more, you know, cartoony side of Sonic Gens, you know. And then you have over here one of the earliest cutscenes of the game. So in creating cutscenes, we read through the script and discussed the direction, then created a 2D 3D movement diagram like a storyboard. After that, a partner company did the animatics and animating process in Maya. The goal for the acting was to show Shadow's inner conflict and his dialogue with Maria. Shadow is the man of a few words, and he doesn't show exaggerated emotions or laugh. So delicate action was required. In particular, facial expressions are important when conveying emotions and thoughts. So we drew expressive eyebrows and eyelids. Originally, these eyes of Sonic characters take up more than half of the face, so they make a big impression. Instead of the mechanical movements, it's like moving the eyelids up and down. Stuff did a shudder. We were conscious of moving the eyebrows and the space between the eyebrows, and created a soft movement. In addition, instead of ending with a preset pose, we ended up with a brushed pose according to the strength of the emotion in each scene. And we're conscious of designing poses that had direction rather than symmetrical poses, which is cool. That is them saying that when they went for a more cartoony vibe for some of the expressions and exaggerated instead of like going with like, you know, everything being symmetrical and even with like an angry face or a sad face. I'm sure they show like a bit of that here. Oh God, hell no, bruh. Look at his face. Oh God, bro. He's on one. He's on one here. But yeah, I mean, obviously you could tell here when, you know, he was freaked out, you know, and then you've got, what do we got over here? This is just him with the eye movements, the angry face. Damn, bro. When Shadow's activating his Doom powers, we made his eyes glow red to express the image of him gradually falling into darkness. If there was a nod for the pupil, it would be easy to attach to the effect. But since there was no bone for the pupil and the eye texture attached to the spheres controlled by a UV offset, it was difficult for an artist to obtain the coordinates of the pupil from there. Therefore, we asked the technical artist to create a tool that tracks and positions the scale of the movement to the external locator. We attach an effect to the snot, making the eye go. That's kind of cool that they had to like make an attachment for the eye so it can track where it's at, so it can do like the crazy shit over here. You know, then you're getting more, you know, of the in-game cutscenes. That's the one with Sonic and Shadow. Let's talk about the new and exciting crazy shit over here. So beyond the remaster, advanced development of a deformation technology. So in order to promote modernization of Sonic Generation Remaster, the dev team explored various research and development methods before embarking on the project with the motto of character expression never seen before. One example of this deformation expression that does not depend on votes. So let's check this out. Oh my fucking god, bro. Look at Sonic with big jumps into wall tricks. Oh my god, bro. Look at this shit. My man got... Oh! Oh my god, hold on. Okay, I got a lot to say about this animation over here. So, first of all, squash and stretch heavily back with Sonic, which is important. You know, you're getting Sonic into a wall run, doing an air trick, which that is like so Sonic, right? To just go pull off an air trick mid-move over here. And man, like even you could tell with the dynamic camera of him like doing a drip into like this spin with the smears. Smear spins are so important when you're trying to do these cool animations into like a zoomed in pose. We love this. So, one, I mean, there's two things I want to say. One, it's still the same model. I still wonder if they're going to be keeping this model for the next game or moving on to a new one. But two, I will say, and I hope this is just because it's a test animation, fix these squash and stretch a little bit. You can tell this is a test, right, where you can tell, like, you know, sometimes it's a little too squash and stretchy, where you can tell you need to like tone it down a little bit so it's not as apparent or like, you know, rigid like this. But I love that they're messing more with dynamic cameras, with squash and stretch, with smear effects. Like even the way he lands here is so bouncy, and I love this. This is this type of shit I'm on that I need to see more of, right? This is a unique vertex shader that performs the same transformation in Maya in the game engine. It can be applied to a ton of normal bone transformations and can add squash and stretch effects or transform the entire character into a vortex shape. Okay, so they're talking about this, you know, that this specific moment where he turns into this vortex. I love that, man. That's the type of shit I'm excited for. So, the TA created the shaders for Maya in Unreal Engine 5, and the artist tried and tested the expressions through animation tests, and then asked the programmer to implement them in the in-house game engine. I was gonna say, because, like, I think Unreal Engine 5 they messed with, but they still use the Hedgehog engine. Here's another animation that they're working on. What do they got? They got... Oh, man, bro. They're just kind of showing you how they're going with the squash and stretch over here. Man, we are in good hands for the future, bro. If this is the type of shit we're getting, even like with the dynamic cameras going over here, yeah, you can see the exaggerated leg here, right? Like this would be off, and this is with it on. Interesting. God, that's really cool to see the difference between having it on and off over here, man. And even like, look at that, bro. His expressiveness where like, yeah, just the model flailing versus with the vertex on. Oh, that's so fucking sick, man. This is so important, man. I'm so happy about this. Oh, they got a test here. Wait, what? Oh, shit. Oh, this is like a new animation using the... Oh, my God. Wait, this is kind of like the Unleash opening, but mixed with the... What's it called? Mixed with the level from Sonic Gens. The soft extension of movement and Sonic struggling held in captivity by Eggman. The subsequent counterattack is expressed dynamically with the softer tones of cartoon animation. Oh, that's so sick, bro. That is so cool, man. Oh my god. Yeah, you're seeing how much more bouncy things are, and I think that's gonna be it. Yeah, look at that. So this is with the deformation on, right, where you have the jump of Eggman, which again, I think in the full release of whatever they're doing is gonna be a bit better, because yeah, this is a bit like too much, right, with how jiggly the robot is. But it's good to have cartooniness, you know. It's good to have the deformation so that it shows real impact when you're doing big damage to things. And again, even when Sonic is struggling over here to get out of a situation, the bigger stretch is so much better, you know. It just shows that more cartooniness. It kind of reminds you of the Unleash opening. Oh, I'm excited for this. So this is an experiment where deformation was added to the cutscene from Sonic Gens. Oh shit, this is the Sonic Gens ported to UE5. Oh shit. Oh man. Yeah, look at that, bro. This is with the deformation off, right? Hold on. And then this is with it on over here. Yeah, look how like much more pushy is. God, this is so cool, dude. I can't wait for the next mainline game, bro. I really can't wait to see what they're doing, man, because it seems like they're really pulling through. God, this looks so good in Unreal 5, man. Even like look at this, bro. Look how, dude, he looks like Marta Sonic almost, dude, with how much he's emotive here, dude. An emotion surprise could be expressed using the whole body. The animation for the scenes were created in motion builder. So the TA created a motion builder version for the deformation shader. Wow, man. Dude, look at that. It's showing like how it looks a bit more rigid versus the blue being like more expressive and cartoony. I love that, dude, because look at that. Yeah, look with it on. How much more like bouncy the cutscene is. Yes, 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 yes. 1,000 times yes. This is exactly what I'm on, bro. This is exactly what I'm on, what I'm excited for, bro. I love this, and keep this up, Sonic Team, for the future, man. Holy shit, I love this, man. Now, what is this? These are some of the enemies. Oh, okay. This is Shadow beating up the enemies over here. Shadow activates his Doom Bars. Pay attention to the way his wings flutter. The shader can be used to express high speed flying action that leaves after images more dynamically. Okay, so this is with the deformation off, and this is with the, oh yeah, you're right. Like the wings look like they're like crazily coming in more with that deformation. Okay, so the deformation thing is like their big tech advancement that they're going with. Shit, man. Damn, no, I'm excited for this. That's, no, don't tell me that's the end. Damn. No, Matsuru is actively on the front lines as the lead character artist in the design section, has been a Maya user for about a quarter century since his student days. The advantages of Maya is that you can do everything from modeling to rigging, animation, rendering with one software. I think it's good to introduce, to get started with it, get a broad understanding in the process, and then find the area you want to specialize in. He said, offering advice to beginners. He continued, the great thing about Maya is that the operations are logged as MEL scripts, so you can easily copy and paste them with repeating the same tasks. You can use it like a macro, and I feel like that's a tool that makes it very good. Damn, man. That's so cool, bro. That's so cool that like we're at this point. Which, like, I mean, yeah, these special animations that they showed for Sonic were like some of the most happy I've been in a while, man. I mean, this is the type of stuff I want to see in the next mainline game, right? Whether we're getting a new remake in Unreal Engine 5, whether, you know, it's a sequel to Frontiers. And I think, you know, we're seeing this even with Sonic, what's it called? The Sonic Racing game, Sonic Racing Crossroads, with, you know, the dynamic intros with the cool posing, and obviously we saw a lot of this in Shadow Generation. So I think Kishimoto and the team were cooking when they really said, yeah, they are taking to heart the whole idea of, you know, more expressive animations that they're going with. Like, I just love how bouncy Sonic is here, and this is the type of shit that's important to us, man. And I really hope they continue this. I really do think, like, even I'm cool with this model, right? I do think if they want to make an updated model, that would go crazy, but it does feel like they're gonna be sticking with this one for a bit. But it was cool to get a bit of insight. You know, sometimes it gets a little too nerdy in the weeds for me, but this stuff is so cool. I mean, we are in such a good place. I really just love showing how fucking weird this whole vertex animation is. And again, like, even stuff like this, like, I loved seeing this cutscene, man. Seeing the cutscene, I almost wish now that they had remastered Jen's cutscenes like this. You know, maybe one day, but for now, like, I'm really happy with how this turned out. You know, look at that, bro. Like, with the vertex deformation on, it looks so much more like that Unleashed scene from that episode in the haunted house or scary house, where like he's trying to scare Chip, and it's so much more exaggerated, bro. I love it so much. So guys, let me know in the comment section below, what of this gets you so excited? What did you think? Did you learn something? Are you hyped for the future? Because I certainly am. And of course, thank you all for watching. I love you, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.